I did have some of the abilities, but I kind of ignored them in a certain way. I mean, I had some things even thinking about like that I ignored it. It was like, how in the world? Because it just, I don't know. Like sometimes I wonder if I see. So when I was in my late teens, I saw my past grandfather in the movie theater. So and he was a unique looking guy. So it's not like it could have been someone who looked like him. And I just kind of. So I was sitting in like the 10th row on the side of watching this movie, and I saw this guy from the back in the front row in the center. And I walked around the front just to check, and I looked at him, and it was him. But I didn't stop and talk to him or anything. I just kept going, like I didn't know what to make of it. And I left. I was with my brother, and I said, "Did you see Pop in the front row there?" He just said no. Again, he didn't say like, "What? Are you kidding?" It was funny that I didn't. And then I just kind of went back to my life. And sometimes I wonder if it still happens that I see past people without even realizing it. Because he looked. And I've seen some things, sometimes they look as solid as you. You can't really tell the difference visually. So, but, I did have, I played sports a lot, and there's a lot of moments where, like when you're in the zone and you're just connected to this thing beyond you. I had some experiences like that, but I wouldn't think of it as spiritual. I wouldn't even line it up with that. The thing is seeing my grandfather, it's kind of amazing that I just let it go. And, I didn't even know, it's not like I thought, oh, you're crazy or anything like that. I just kind of let it go. And well, I think it was just because it was really a part of my nature and I just hadn't been aware of it yet. So I didn't think of it as that crazy. And, looking back, I was just being, and still I'm being pushed in that direction all the time. Even though my mind accepts it a lot now, but still there are things that are still beyond my understanding, and there's always like a pulling, and like sometimes, oh man, I have to be nice to that person. And it's like, yeah, you got to be nice to everybody, and you don't get to choose who and when. You get, if you're committed to doing the spiritual work, you do it. It's not like, oh, I'll just do it on Sunday at church kind of thing. It's like an everyday, all the time thing. I'm always amazed, and every time I work with anyone, it's always like, wow, that is so cool. And when something happens that confirms it in the physical world, then it's like, wow, that's really cool. It's kind of like, it's always the same procedure of acceptance and knowing the person's good and aligning them with spirit and working with the spiritual masters and stuff. But sometimes things happen in a little bit of a variety that, because people just ask me about all sorts of things. And part of me goes, I don't know anything about that. And then it's like, then I do that thing. And sometimes I'll know something about it, but more importantly, things shift for the person in a really cool way. One thing happened, and it was a little bit after that thing that happened at the University of Bridgeport, because that's when I started posting stuff on social media, and it was around Thanksgiving time here in the U.S., and I was just, looking through my emails and stuff, partially to look for stuff to post, but also looking for things to be grateful for. And I came across this email from this client this was someone I saw in person, but her friend kind of forced her to come see me because she didn't believe in what I did, but she had had a miscarriage, and something happened to her physically where she was getting very sick, and the doctors told her, forget about ever having a child. At this point, we're, concerned about even saving you. And she came to me after 2 sessions. She wrote me this email saying, I don't know what you do, but I'm getting better, and the doctors can't believe it. Maybe a year later, I heard she was pregnant, and then she ended up having a baby boy. And I saw this, and I was like, right, exactly, like, wow. It's a great thing. So, yeah. And, there's a lot of things like that have happened, but that was something where I just like, wow, what I do is really cool. And I don't know, I still feel a little humble about it, even to tell people, especially if they're going to think I'm a little cuckoo, which I guess I am. But it's so cool. That was a big step towards that. I do this thing that helps people get healed. Yeah, it's the support of other people. There's a big part of movement in this that's really important. But it's good to find other people that are interested and do. So there is that I help other people, but it's important to always work on myself. And I take classes and read books, and the journal writing is a self-exploratory process of learning how to, when I said, I have to be nice to this person, sometimes it's a process to be, how can I be in my spiritual loving in relation to everything? And sometimes that's not so easy. Yeah. Well, we kind of have to love it all, so that's even ourselves and our humanness, and it's a balance all the time. And I've learned, I'm always learning a lot, but it seems, and a lot of times it's like, I knew that, how come I didn't really get it? But in the last few months, I've just had a lot more awareness and awakening about handing it over to God, because I don't know, it seems like the most basic spiritual principle, but something in me just has really learned to do that a whole lot more. And that is another great gift, to be able to let go and let God. And everything starts with yourself, love yourself, and then love your neighbors, take care of yourself, and take care of others. Things are good that everyone has these special qualities, and it might be expressed it's easy to see what I do that it's spiritual, but anything, any work that you do can be spiritual. Anything you do, I can, all these things come, help be of service, but first, God, then you, then your family, and then your community kind of thing. So.